So yeah, the water temple. Where do I even start with this? A lot of people really, really hate this dungeon. And as far as my opinion on it, well, before this recording, I was kind of reflecting on this temple and how I really feel about this. But I guess the best way to even go about doing this is, I guess, kind of doing like a bit of a resume of the water temple. So just kind of explaining all of the terrible, terrible, awful, annoying things about it. So let's see. It's annoying. It's tedious. It's very, very wet. It's got these stupid, annoying clam guys, which you can only hit when they're facing you, and they have their like little tongue, or not really tongue, but uvulas looking at you. It's very wet. Nobody likes to get wet, so yeah, that's another reason why you really, really hate the water temple. It caused both World War I and World War II, and the secret World War III that our governments do not want us to know about. It most likely shot JFK, so yeah, you can blame the water temple for that. It created both the Virtual Boy and the Philips CDI gaming consoles. Terrible, terrible systems that were created by the terrible, terrible water temple. It made IGN an even worse review site because 7.8, too much water temple. It destroyed my parents. I mean, my parents are both alive and well, and they're doing fine, but, you know, it definitely destroyed their soul, I'm willing to bet. The water temple made Donald Trump run for president, which was a terrible, terrible thing to happen. I also can't get up there yet, unfortunately. Also, yeah, so many different rooms, so many different paths. It's easy to lose your place here. Seriously. It most likely programmed Princess Peach's AI in Mario Party. So all those terrible things that have happened to me is definitely the result of the water temple and nothing else. I think we can definitely all agree with that. The water temple is the leading case of heart disease and many other very terrible ailments that people can get. It was the creation, or it led to the creation, of YouTube's faulty content ID system, which I've said before, it's not really that bad of a system, it just shouldn't be controlled by robots, but you know, the water temple definitely created the robots that eventually led to that. It woke me up from my nap earlier, and I'm someone who really, really needs to have their daily nap, because, seriously, otherwise I'm just extremely cranky. I think it pushed me the other day. So yeah, I mean, come on, water temple is just a giant bully. The water temple is where pretty much internet trolls are born. So every troll on the internet was definitely born in the water temple. And finally, the most blasphemous reason for why this temple sucks is that it more than likely probably ripped off Undertale. Even though Undertale came out almost 20 years after it, it still ripped it off somehow. And that, everybody, is why the water temple is not only the worst place in this game, but also the worst temple in all video games. Now that the joke is over, that was basically me copying everyone who overreacts at this temple. I will agree that the water temple is kind of tedious, it can be kind of annoying at times, and there are some parts that I don't particularly like. But aside from that, I really don't think it's that bad. There are 3 things I don't like about it, and when I say I don't like it, they're just things that, like, you know, I don't look forward to that part of the game, but I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to, when I get to that part, I'm just going to do it. But I hate the mid-boss of this temple. I hate the constant switching between the iron boots and the normal boots. And there's just one part in the middle of the temple that can be kind of confusing if you don't know what you're doing. But aside from that, I mean, it's really not that bad. Like, I feel like everybody's first experience with the water temple is pretty much the same. Like, everyone has the same troubles with the water temple their first time. But every single playthrough after that, you will always have not as much of an issue with it. You may get lost a few times, but it's really, really not a big deal. It really, really isn't. So, you know, aside from those few issues, I really don't think the water temple is that bad. If anything, I think it's kind of misunderstood, because there are some decently clever puzzles in here. There are some puzzles that are actually kind of cool. But again, just with how this game was made, with the constant switching of iron boots and stuff of that nature, it does make it kind of annoying, I will admit, but I don't think it makes the game unplayable. I mean, even with the water temple existing, a lot of people still say Ocarina of Time is one of the best games of all time. So, I just really feel like people just kind of overreact whenever this temple is brought up. It can definitely be annoying. I'm not saying it's not, but, you know, give it a chance every now and then. Like, don't be so cruel about it. Open your eyes to the majesty of water, I guess. Water is my favorite element. And I'm not gonna lie, in a lot of video games, yeah, the water levels are usually some of the more annoying parts, but I don't know. I just think a lot of people really kind of harp on this for, I don't want to say for no good reason, but for almost flimsy reasons, I guess is the best way to say it. And again, I kind of talked about this in a few other playthroughs, but I feel like some of the reasons why the water levels are always harped on is especially during the N64 era, where games were kind of doing like the 3D platforming thing a lot and stuff of that nature, was because it is kind of a change in gameplay a little bit, where you pretty much spend a lot of the time playing this game out of water, so when you actually get to an area that has nothing but water, it can definitely be kind of intimidating. I mean, I think that kind of goes without saying, and I think that's a very fair assessment. But, like, still, I mean, it's still a part of the game, and, you know, naturally, if it's a part of the game, you can expect the developers to try to do something with it, and that's pretty much what this is. But yeah, right now I'm kind of just going through all of the first areas, trying to get everything. We have a Skulltula right there. Hooray for Skulltula. We have 2 keys as well, which is a good start. Honestly, it's really, really good whenever you have a key. Having a key is always good. Because you never know when you're just going to run into a door. And having a key, having an extra key, having multiple keys is always a good safety catch, I guess. Unfortunately, there wasn't a key there. It was just a Skulltula, but still, nothing wrong with a good old Skulltula. Okay, so we've pretty much explored all of the bottom floors, and I think that's pretty much what you have to do whenever you're playing through here. Is just kind of do it one at a time. Like, explore the entire bottom floor, then once you do that, then make your way to the middle, because in this room is where we'll actually find the, yeah, this is where we'll find the next water switch. So yeah, you just kind of have to work your way around the temple, and also keep track of every single, like, instance. Like, for example, like, here we have a Skulltula we can't get. There's no way we can get that Skulltula, so we're going to have to come back here later. Then write that down on your notebook or something and let yourself know that, okay, I need to come back here later. And then progress on. There was also that locked door earlier. keep track of that. Remember where that locked door was. I remember it is just as on the very bottom floor, like in the north, like on the north of the very bottom floor. And that's pretty much all there is to it. That's really the best way you can, like, navigate this temple. Just keep track of what rooms you've been in and what rooms you haven't been in, and you'll be fine. Right here is actually a key I forget about a lot. I always seem to forget about this part right here. Or at least I did when I was a kid. Now it's more so that door on the first floor that I forget about, but even then I kind of remember that now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little water temple routine right there. I just kind of felt like having fun with that. Creating my own little stupid scenarios for why the water temple is bad. Ones that were like definitely not serious at all. This is seriously why I hate these guys. Okay. So I believe over here, yep, this is where we want to be. But yeah, like I'm so glad that the Ocarina of Time 3D version on 3DS fixed a lot of the annoying nuances of the switching between iron boots. Honestly, that was just a smarter decision to make that a C item as opposed to a like an equip. I believe Wind Waker also did the same thing. Oh, shoot. I just went back. Okay, you know what? Fine. I won't do that. I'll stay on the ground. But yeah, I believe Wind Waker's when they actually made the Iron Boots a C equip item, and it was definitely a good idea. That way you could just put them on really quick and take them off really quick if you needed to. That's the way it should be done. So yeah, always remember that the second water switch is in here. That's probably the best way to do it, at least in my opinion. And with that, we are on the second floor. So now we can take care of some other things. I really kind of wish I'd have the compass right about now, I'm not going to lie. I don't think I can do this yet. There's nothing over here. There's a locked door over here. Okay, well, let's go this way first. Also, for some reason, my Skype is updating. Which is stupid. I didn't tell it to update. That's just something Skype does, I guess. Okay. Let's get up here. Damn it! I wasn't trying to get on that water current, I was trying to get in front of it. There you go. Hello, Mr. Compass! Because obviously this is going to be the compass. Okay, so there we go. Let's go back down. Land on the spikes. Because why not? And now we can actually see more of the area, which is really, really nice. So this is another part that kind of confused me a lot when I was a kid. But you want to sink back down to the room where you found Ruto before. Because there's actually a room in between the very top and the very bottom. that you can only access with the water level at this point. That always frickin' confused me, and I really, really hated that. I didn't even catch on that this is a room until I just like randomly looked at the map when I was a kid. I was like, wait, there's a treasure chest here. How do I get there? And then I just kind of used common sense and logic to get me here. So there, we have another key. We have 3 keys, which is good. Like I said before, we're going to need as many keys as possible to get through this dungeon. And I think that's all we need. I think we can now enter that next locked door. Yeah, I think that is where we're going next. Okay, there we go. Let us enter this door. Okay, before you do anything here, get rid of this guy. That guy's always a jerk, just falling on you while you're doing this part right here. And up here we have the final water switch. Now here's a trick. And I always do this because it just makes the most logical sense. This is probably where you want to create Faror's Wind. Because this way you can just make it to the very top very quickly. And you can. It's also a shortcut back to the middle room too, so there's definitely a few reasons for why that's very helpful to put that there. But yep, we're going to play, and now we're going to increase the water level to the very top. This is pretty much where the water level was at the very beginning when we started this dungeon. Which, I don't remember if there's anything on the right side. I'll go ahead and check, though, just to be sure. I know there's also a very random, annoying block that can get in your way if you don't take care of it at the right moment. I don't remember if it's this or not. Actually, it is. Perfect. So yeah, you definitely need to do that before you do any more progression. That is definitely something you need to do. Just gotta pull that forward on the green platform. I want to say, though, you can get that from... Yeah, I think that's the middle south door. I think that's when that starts becoming relevant. Oh. Jerkwad. Soccer mom. No. Nothing wrong with being a soccer mom. If you enjoy taking your kid to Little League soccer games, that's just great. You're spending more time with your kids. You're being helpful to the other parents that take their kids to soccer games by bringing snacks and refreshments and being a possible car ride. There's nothing wrong with being a soccer mom. Okay, so in this room, there is a Skulltula, but I don't think there's any good way to get that Skulltula right now. It could be possible, but it may not be possible. They intend for you to get that later. And now for kind of an annoying part. I'm personally not a fan of this anyway. You gotta use the hook shot to get up these platforms. And there we go. And yes, you need another key. I think that takes care of all the keys, though, so I think we're good. Okay, this room can be kind of a... I don't want to say a pain, but it will have a lot of item switching. Or not really item switching. I guess it's more switch switching. Crystal switch switching. It's weird to just say switching twice. Okay, so can I do this? Okay, this is what I need to do. Which that might seem weird to do that again. I need to, so I can actually climb over that statue when I'm over here. Almost fell off, don't want to do that. Oh, come on, that's not close enough. Not close enough, my ass! Oh, water temple. But yeah, I think there's definitely a big difference between something being tedious and something being bad. And I'd say the water temple is definitely not bad. It can be tedious, but again, that's why there's a differentiation between those two words. Okay. One more enemy before we... Ugh. How can that not hit him? I guess I could throw bombs. Might be a better option, to be honest. Don't set the bomb there. Oh, there we go. You could just like hookshot your way over there and just take the loss and just get him back after you destroy it, but that takes extra menuing time, which I don't really want to do. Also, before we enter, is there... I thought there'd be a fairy there, but I guess not. Okay! This room looks cool, doesn't it? It's got a nice lone island there. We can see our reflection in the water. It's all very nice. It's all very nice. Wait, Wait, no, it's still here. Oh, there we go. Our reflection's gone. Say hello to Dark Link. Probably, in my opinion, the most annoying mid-boss in the entire game. However, there is actually a really, really simple trick you can beat this guy with. Well, it's not working now, because he's avoiding it now, but let me just try to get him out of this pattern. There we go. So basically what this guy does is he mimics your every action with the sword. And because he does that, if you switch to an item like the Megaton Hammer, which he doesn't have, you can just like really, really kind of screw with his AI. But this is literally just like easy manipulation. Otherwise what you have to do is you pretty much just have to get lucky with hitting him. Like use very, very quick strokes and hope that maybe he won't hit you. Definitely don't lock onto him, though, because if you lock onto him, he's usually going to try to avoid the attack. But you can still hit him. It's just it's probably going to take a few attacks before you actually get it to work. And that's honestly why I really hate this guy so much. Other things you can do is if you have the hookshot, you can actually, if you use the hookshot on him, he tries to avoid it, but then he kind of opens himself up to getting hit. So that's something else you can do, although it's not really the best strategy. It's just kind of one of those things you can do if you feel like it. Another strategy is you can use Den's Fire. Den's Fire is how I used to actually beat him as a kid, because it always seemed like it'd be doing a lot of damage, and I knowed for sure I'd be hitting him. And also, now that we got the big Goron sword, you can actually hit this guy from a longer range and kind of mess him up a little bit because he's not used to the range of the big Goron sword, since he has the range of the Master Sword. So that's another way you can hit him. So yeah, those are definitely some ways you can beat Dark Link. He's a really, really tough opponent. Probably my least favorite boss fight in this game, if I'm being quite honest with you. But I prefer the hammer method. The hammer method definitely works the best. Because all you have to do is just swipe at him a few times with your sword, wait for him to like stop moving, go up to him, hit him with the hammer, and repeat. He'll get in a cycle where he can't dodge anything. It's also worth noting that Dark Link actually has health relevant to how much health you have. So the more heart containers you have, the longer it's going to actually take to beat him. If you have very few heart containers, it won't take long at all. But if you're like me and you've been collecting everything, then he's definitely going to be a lot more challenging. But yeah, that's pretty much Dark Link, and that's honestly like the thing I was worried most about in this project, because when I did my practice file, the hammer strategy wouldn't work for some reason. I don't know why. I think I was just doing it wrong, to be honest, but I don't know, it just wasn't really working properly when I did it the first time, or when I did it on my practice file. But with that over, I feel like the hardest part of the playthrough is done, so let's go to the end of the playthrough, guys, I guess. Okay, well, here we have the dungeon item, which is the long shot. The long shot is just like the hook shot, it just goes a longer distance, so very, very useful. I really do like the long shot. And with the long shot, we can officially enter Gerudo Valley without Epona.